Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream at 7:30 p.m. It is the 8th of February 2024, and we're going to have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today here in Spain. Also, some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times also. And in the second half of this evening's live stream, around the 17, 18, 19 minute mark of the video, we'll go into the chat section and check out what is happening there. Say hello to the viewers. Now, straight into the news and the ongoing farmers' strike, if you like, the farmers' demonstrations that are taking place around the country, and the Ministry of Agriculture to bring together the food sector in the midst of a wave of protests and encourages buying Spanish products. The Ministry of Agriculture has invited representatives from all links of the food chain, from the primary sector to distribution, to a meeting next Wednesday, the 14th of February, amidst a wave of farmer protests in our country. This is the biannual meeting of the Food Chain Observatory, where the main professional agricultural organisations that are calling for the current mobilisations are represented. The Director General of Food at the Ministry of Agriculture and organiser of the meeting, José Miguel Herrero, has said at this time, when farmers are out in the streets demanding attention from the administration, the best thing we can do to help them is buy Spanish products. So there we go, the Ministry of Agriculture saying that the best thing that we can do currently is buy Spanish produce from the supermarkets whenever we go there. Because one of the big problems, according to farmers, is that they are facing cheaper imports in the market, and therefore that lowers their prices too. And this is an issue, as we'll see in this next article here, when it comes to Spain's role in the globalized world that we currently live in. And as we can see here, dependence on food from outside Spain has soared 88% in 10 years. The data is here, and it shows a dual reality. Globalisation has boosted Spanish exports of agricultural products, but at the same time, thanks to tariff disarmament and the reduction of quotas from third countries outside the EU, trade is governed by the principle of reciprocity. Imports have also significantly increased. Specifically, in the last decade, foreign purchases have increased by no less than 88% in current euros, meaning without taking inflation into account. So that's one of the issues. And I will say that when you go to supermarkets here in Spain and you are faced with various products, the same type of products sometimes competing against each other, for example, when it comes to tomatoes, you can find tomatoes from other countries. Also, when it comes to bananas, the humble Spanish plátano from the Canary Islands facing competition from bananas that come in from Costa Rica or Guatemala or wherever they come from. Oranges that come in from South Africa competing with Spanish oranges. And remember that the Spanish varieties of oranges worldwide, Valencian oranges, for example, and I'm sure those are similar to the ones being produced in South Africa, but they come into the Spanish market, of course, and it means that Spanish farmers have to compete with these products, and as we saw before, that's one of their complaints. But as the Ministry of Agriculture has said, buy Spanish produce or products and help the farmers out, or the food producers out. That is the recommendation. So let me know if you are in Spain and you do support local producers and buy local produce. Let me know. Some good news for people that wear glasses or have contact lenses in Spain, and it is that the Spanish government has said that it's going to finance these two things. On January the 29th of this year, the newly appointed Minister of Health, Mónica García, announced that the Spanish government will include glasses and contact lenses into the benefits provided by Social Security. The aim of this measure is to ensure that people don't have to reach into their pockets when they need this type of assistance. However, regarding the exact date this social measure will be implemented, the coalition government led by Pedro Sánchez clarifies that it will be carried out throughout the legislature, meaning the specific day, month or year it will start is still unknown. Looking back, this initiative is not new. In the previous legislature, with Carolina Darias guess, heading this department, there was already a proposal to expand the benefits of this system, although the measure did not ultimately take off. So good news on one hand that the Spanish government has mentioned financing glasses and contact lenses for people like myself and other people that wear glasses here. I read a statistic yesterday, I think, and it was that something like 70% of the adult population here in Spain wears glasses at some time or another, or contact lenses. But on the negative side, the government has mentioned these things before, but haven't been put into place yet. So we'll see if the new minister, Ms. Garcia, who was or who is in the position, from only a few months ago, has been in the position only a few months, decides to get this into the social security system. Glasses and contact lenses subsidized by the government, because they're expensive. Anybody who has glasses will tell you that they're not cheap. Not cheap at all. And the last piece of news here, the map showing the areas of Spain with the least water reserves. The drought is not letting up, they say. Spain is going through a drought period that is reducing the country's water reserves to half of their total capacity. According to data provided by the Ministry for Ecological Transition, the reservoirs have collected 28,095 cubic hectometers of water, which means on average they are 50.1% of their capacity. This is a 0.7% decrease from last week, 381 cubic hectometers in round numbers. However, the drought does not affect all hydrographic demarcations in peninsular Spain equally, and the capacity of the reservoirs also varies. From the basins in the north of Spain and those of Tinto, Odiel and Piedras in Huelva, above 70%, to those in the rest of Andalusia and Catalonia, below 25%. And here we can see the water reserves in Spain. Galicia, 83% up there in the northwest of the country, Galicia Costa. And then we've got different numbers around the country. As we can see in the north of the country, very high, 84.9% in the Cantabria region, 81% in the Basque country, and other parts of the country going around 15.7% in Catalonia, low, 18.2% I think in some parts of the Mediterranean, 18.1% in Murcia, I believe that is, and 14.6% in the Cádiz, Barbate, Guadalete basin there, and Huelva obviously with more water. And in Madrid, I think we're okay for water currently, and with the storm that's going to hit later this evening and tomorrow, we'll probably get even more water to fill the reservoirs here. Not sure if it's going to hit the areas that need it the most, Catalonia and some parts of Andalusia, but hopefully they'll get a few drops extra into the reservoirs there to help alleviate the situation, which, as we know, is critical. Now, into the comment section. That's the end of the news, so we'll take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times. First one here from Hiker Woody. Diesel in Spain must be the cheapest in Europe. Yesterday in Castellón, I paid €1.28 per litre. Don't know, Hiker Woody, if it is the cheapest in Europe. I know that it's cheaper here in Spain than it is in Portugal, for example, most likely France and Germany and other European countries there. But not sure when it comes to some of the countries in the east of Europe, what people are paying in Romania, for example, for diesel. Got no idea. But it also depends on the service station that you go to. Low cost, I imagine that would be Hiker Woody, €1.28 a litre. Or is it a major brand of service station, a BP, a Repsol, what's another one? A Shell? Let us know. But I imagine that price is, as I said, low cost, which are very popular nowadays in Spain. In fact, some of the most popular service stations in the country now low cost with those prices, $1.28 a litre. Similar comment here from CL Man. Here in Canada, farmers get cheaper diesel fuel that has a different colour from the normal diesel, so they can't sell it in the black market. Yeah, the same here, CL Man. When you go to rural areas of the country, you will see that they have cheaper diesel on offer for tractors and things like that. But of course, normal folk can't buy it. different color, and also I don't know whether it has any mechanical difference when it comes to the mechanics or using that diesel fuel, whether there is a difference for normal engines. I imagine there is, but again, I don't know. And also, if you get caught selling diesel on the black market, wow, the civil guard will come down on you hard. So exactly the same thing here. I remember traveling through Extremadura, maybe last year I think it was, and pulled up at a service station, a Galp service station, and saw the price. It was around 65 cents a litre, I think, and I said, what's that the price of? And the guy says, fuel for tractors. So the same. Another one here from Square Woodworking. Anyone, that is farmers who stand up for their rights, families, jobs, etc., and now against the socialist government, are called out as far right. Same old pattern. Remember the truckers in Canada? Getting boring. Yawn, yawn. Well, I think Square Woodworking, that farmers standing up for their rights, what's happened here at least, or at least some press outlets are saying this, that there are right-wing factions behind the movement, and some people are arguing that it is more of a protest movement, considering it started a lot later than other European countries. And it was first, I think the main mobilizations were called on social media platforms, Telegram and the like, and some of the people behind it, not really sure who they are. We saw one person yesterday, and she had former ties to the right-wing side of politics. But yeah, maybe there is something in what you say. I don't know. Let us know if you agree with that comment there from the person in question. This one here, Square Woodworking. Let us know if you agree. Another comment here from, let me get it here quickly, from Exlandros. I'm 100% behind the farmers, but blocking roads like other protesters do so the general public can't get where they're going is not the way to get support for your cause. Make life more difficult for the politicians, not the public who support you. Well, I think the idea here is that when you hit the streets and you interrupt the daily life of the average citizen by blocking the roads and blocking access to places where people want to go, is that you get a lot of attention, and I imagine that's why they do it. Do I agree? Probably not. I agree with this, that there are other ways to get support, but protest groups seem to feel that burning tyres in the middle of a motorway and stopping traffic and basically annoying people is the way to get that message across. And not only does it happen with protest groups, but also when we can see these, well, I suppose they are protest groups, but whether they're protesting for the environment or whether they're protesting for agriculture or farming, then they seem to think that that is the most effective way to get their message across. Again, do I agree with it? Most likely not, and nobody wants to be inconvenienced by these things. And we've seen in recent times in big cities around the world protesters gluing themselves to things in order to disrupt people's daily lives. But again, what do you think? Another one here from Warns. Good on farmers, 100% behind them and all that are taking action around the world. Pushing the insane green agenda will starve us to death. Perhaps that's the plan. It's not about the climate. Yeah, so obviously Warns has his ideas here, pushing an insane green agenda that has the objective to starve people to death. Now, I don't know whether that's the objective. I think people will try to work out some type of harmony between the two. At least I think that's what people are getting paid to try to work out. And I don't see the benefit of starving millions, if not billions of people. But some people have their ideas, and you're welcome to them. But we might not all agree. One here from Janet. The word zorra or zorra, the misogynistic Spanish again. So Janet there, misogynistic ways of Spanish men, no doubt, using this word, which has become controversial because of the meaning. And we'll see it here in another comment from Yanisi. Hi Stu Zorro, I watched the television show of the sword-fighting hero in my youth. So Zorro was a rascal. Well, the word Zorro, Zorro, as we used to say back in the day. I also used to watch that show, Zanisi, and I think it was, or Yanisi, sorry, and I think it was a movie also starring one of Spain's most famous actors, Antonio Banderas, was in the Zorro movies. The real meaning of the word is fox, but when you use it colloquially, it means rascal. If you say, oh, menudo zorro eres, meaning that they're, a little bit sly, a little bit cheeky maybe, a bit of a rascal. But when it's used in the context of a woman, as we saw yesterday, it means something completely different. Words that I'm not going to mention here. And I think that's what Janet is pointing out here, that, you can call a man zorro and no problems, pat on the back. But if you call a woman the female version of the word zorra, it doesn't have the same meaning. It has that misogynistic meaning, as Janet points out there. And there are other words as well. I think in English we use the word fox. I've heard it in my youth, foxy lady. I don't think it has necessarily a negative connotation. I don't know. There have been songs with that word used in it. A bit of a fox, I remember. I always thought that was more glamorous rather than the Spanish connotation of the word. But again, I could be wrong. Let me know. Now that's the end of the content, 16 minutes, which means that we're going to go into the chat section in just a minute. Before I do that, the background is going to be changed. This photo was sent through by Erica, and it's a picture of a former bullfighting ring in Barcelona called Arenas de Barcelona, which I think hasn't been used as a bullfighting ring for a long time now, but has been turned into a supermarket. And this is the picture that Erica has sent through. And we can see, I think Erica also mentioned that a good idea maybe we could turn more of these bullfighting rings into shopping centres. Don't know whether the population would agree with that, because as we know, a lot of people still support bullfighting, and some of the most emblematic buildings in cities around Spain are bullfighting rings. For example, in Madrid, go there any day of the week and you will see tourists taking photos of the famous Las Ventas. But this one here in Catalonia, where they have a different philosophy when it comes to bullfighting than they do here in Madrid. Madrid is a pro-bullfighting city, I would say. It does have its detractors, but in general, I would say Madrid is pro-bullfighting. But Catalonia, no. And I think it's been banned in Catalonia, bullfighting now for some time. And good use of a building. Why put up a shiny new building when you've got existing infrastructure, right? Why not? Thanks, Janet, for Erica, for the photo. Into the chat section in a moment. Before I do that, the email address is here. If you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop of any Spanish monument, building, coastal shots, whatever, markets, send them through to put on the backdrop. The more, the merrier, as they say. Also, thanks to people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's on the Super Thanks option on YouTube here, Super Chat in the live streams, buying me a coffee, longer-term supporters on Patreon, or the new member option, which I'll put on the screen here now, from only $1.99 a month, I think, there, to join as a valued member. Super member's a little bit more expensive, $2.99, I think that is, reading it there. And welcome on board in recent times too. I'll just find my list. Paul Gerard joined recently as a member. Thumbado a Tope, also a member recently. Adam, a member too. And Alan, regular viewer. Alan, a member of the channel now. So thanks, guys, for the support. Now, into the chat section. Let's go there. Again, I've got to put before I forget, the like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. You'll find it below the video. Hit it, please. So into the chat section now. Let's scroll up to the top, see some familiar names as always here. Andrew, the first person I can see, valued member, of course, is Andrew. I'll just get rid of the like icon. Good evening, Stuart and all. Here's hoping you are well from a wet, cold and miserable London southeast. Going to get wet here too, Andrew. Quite a matter of time. I think later this evening a storm is rolling over Spain. But like I said, not sure if it's going to hit the Mediterranean areas where they need water, or the Andalusia area where they need water also. Not sure, but fingers crossed that they do get some rain there. James and Kathy coming in from, a wet Worcester, chucking it down. Wish we could send some rain to dry Spain in those areas, of course, in exchange or in return for some sunshine. Why not? Good idea. Paul, recent member coming in. Good evening. Wet, wet, wet there also in Germany, I think that is. High Flyer also coming in from a wet location. London Southeast also. Richard, also a valued member, coming in from a wet North York. So it looks as though or England at least, is very wet from what we've seen here. I imagine the rest of the UK also wet. Janet coming in from Oxford. Rain 2. There we go. We'll need the arcs soon. I saw California on the news also. I'm not on the Spanish news, on the international news. And very, very wet there. Very wet indeed. The effects of El Nino, I imagine, or La Nina, whichever one is hitting that part of the States. Janet's son and family is in Derbyshire. Have been enjoying the snowing there. Frank coming in from a rainy and cold Crawley in the UK. Giovanna coming in from Badajoz, I think it was that Giovanna is located. Good evening to all the Spain lovers. Thanks, Giovanna. Welcome. Andrew coming in from Amariña, 200 kilometres per hour and more. The winds today there, very, very strong. They've just picked up here where I am. Fortunately, they weren't strong all day because strong winds can create havoc on the roads also. Sani coming in from Basingstoke, wet there too. Stephen has been to Seville. Got some backdrop photos, hopefully, Stephen. Valued member also is Stephen, as we can see with the little sun, is it, next to the name? Got tied up in the Spanish farmers dispute when I was on my way there on Tuesday. Added an extra 2 hours of the trip. Backdrop photos on. Thank you very much, Stephen, for that. Well, that's what we saw before, right? Disrupting roads around the country, motorways, and Stephen affected driving from Malaga to Sevilla on Tuesday. But that's the objective, right? To affect other people's lives. Get the message across to as many people as possible, to make as much noise as possible, to make as much press as possible. Tintan, is it very windy in Cantabria? Probably wet as well. We saw the dam situation in Cantabria. No dramas there when it comes to rain. This afternoon saw sunken boats and electricity poles on the ground. That's obviously that strong winds that we saw, 200 in Amariña and strong up there in Cantabria. Timothy coming in. Glad I caught you live. Greetings from Tenerife. Timothy also with a YouTube channel. Check that one out. What else we got going on here? Robert coming in from Vancouver, Canada. Sunny and cool, but rain expected soon there as usual. Too bad we can't send some water to Spain. Yeah, a lot of people, I think there's a business in that somewhere. Sending water here. Philip coming in from a cold and wet Northumberland. Hopefully Fuengirola is going to be a lot better from next Friday till the last week of March. So Philip hitting the Costa del Sol, Fuengirola. Saw that in the paper the other day as well. They're putting up a new chiringuito on the beach in Fuengirola. A little bit controversial apparently because it's very close to the water. Thirsty is Charlie. Aren't we all? This time of the evening, 7:53. I think everyone's a little bit thirsty. Beer o'clock time or wine o'clock time or whatever your fancy is. Farmers markets are usually a good place to start as the produce is our local. Of course, my supermarkets try to squash these alternatives. Yeah, that's the business model of the supermarkets, to squash the farmers markets and to squash the small shops. That's the objective. That's the business that they're in. They're not there to make friends. They're there to get your dollars or your euros or your pounds. Glasses will become more and more common as we all use computers, mobiles, etc. and spend many hours daily using them. An unfortunate consequence, in my opinion. Yeah, I've had glasses all my life, so I'm not. For me, it's just part of the day-to-day putting my glasses on. Pamela, coming in from San Juan de los Terreros. We saw a photo from down there the other day. Looked nice. Darren coming in from, where's this? Kent. Been raining a lot there. More rain expected. Probably the same storm. Thumbado, recent member of the channel, coming in. 12 beers in Eroske, €8. Second pack, €2. Thanks for the news. Yeah, that's a good deal. Can't complain. What type of beer was it, Thumbado? Let me know. Bob, also a valued member, coming in from Torrevieja. Jimmy's back in Madrid. Jimmy, the sports reporter. Any scores, Jimmy? What else we got going on? Steve had a brilliant time in Seville. Really enjoyed it. Lovely tapas. Definitely returning. Also feel their anger. And I do buy local produce. Talking about the farmers feeling the anger there. Bob, the government is saying they will be offering help to wearers of glasses and contact lenses. Will this benefit me? Be means tested to keep costs down? No, Bob. Nothing is means tested when it comes to the social security. Nothing is means tested, or at least I don't think it is. They've never asked me to prove my income. You get your social security card and away you go. Is Thoro a woman yet? Don't know what that means. Me, whoever me is. Very common name, me. 123 coming in, also a valued member. Late, so we'll have to listen back. Hope you are well. Saw a report today that Barajas is the worst in the world for lost baggage. I wonder if anyone has experienced it. Don't know, 123. I've never had a problem at Barajas with lost luggage. I've had a problem in other places around the world, but not Barajas. Far right is used as a catchphrase for anyone who doesn't agree with the left or far left, and not everyone opposing the far right. The phrase has lost its meaning. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. But we saw how effective the left wing's political campaign was here last year, Mr. Sanchez and company. They used the far right to their advantage. Fee coming in, estimating that 95% of the food we buy is produced in Spain. The exceptions are pasta. We eat some brown rice pasta, some gins and tonic water. Spain had some nice gins actually, Fee. You could probably check some of those out. And pasta as well. There's a brand here called Gallo, which is not bad. Obviously, I don't know whether it's up to the standard of the Italian pasta brands, but Gallo pasta. Spanish alternative. Hello, Stu. Coming in from LA is Renault. Soft collie. Aren't the farmer protests about EU regulations rather than not buying Spanish? Yeah, nobody really knows. They've got a series of demands, but the agriculture department thinks that one way to help is that, and also the other problems as well. One of the problems they're complaining about is bureaucracy. European Union bureaucracy, making it too difficult. One farmer was saying that he spends 12 hours in the fields, then he has to come back and spend another 3 hours doing paperwork. Doesn't know whether it's worth it. Probably not. Nikos coming in from Marbella. Philip also coming in from rainy London. Marco coming in from Portugal, heading back to Spain soon. Good to join me live. Pissing it down there. Regards, Marco. Rain that's on its way here, no doubt. Kiwi Ken coming in from Murcia. Got caught up travelling there on the A30 to Chinchilla. It was no problem, but added 15 minutes to the travel time. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Soft Collie saying, do I get screenshots of newspapers in English or do I translate them? I translate them, Soft Collie. Translate them. Sometimes they're good translations, sometimes they're bad translations. San Miguel is the beer that Thumbado bought. I've seen that offer here, actually, Thumbado, where you get the second pack of, 12, was it? Cheaper than the first. Normally 70% discount or something in the Carrefour supermarket. Probably the one that you got. San Miguel, not one of my favourites. Not one of my favourites. And Soft Collie saying that anything that goes against the government globalist agenda is labelled far right. There we go. Far right. That seems to be the common trend of today's live stream. Now, that's the last comment that last chat section chat that I've got. So time to wrap the live stream up. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll just organise my buttons here. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Thanks for watching the videos in general. Thanks for becoming a supporter if you have done that in recent times. And I'll be back again with a regular video tomorrow, I think. Another live stream on Sunday. Hope to see you there. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Bye-bye.